Hey guys, welcome back to Shark House Entertainment. I am your host, Brian Gatto, along with Mumster, who has been requested to come back to the show by several people. One who just commented recently, Subway Switch, he said, "We miss Mumster, we miss you guys doing your After the Watches are from Reel to Wheels." Problem is, it was night when we saw the movie we're going to be talking about, and we were both very tired. We just got off of being sick. So we're doing an After Watch on Saw X. So we just got back from seeing this 2 days ago or yesterday.
Yes, no, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Um, and I didn't. I kind of knew what to expect based on the reviews, but well, what did you think of it?
I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it.
What did you enjoy most about it?
Mm. Well, it made me not want to watch parts of it. It was a little squeamish in some parts. And I thought, I enjoyed, I felt like I knew right up front what was going on, I guess you want to say. Like I knew what the games were. Like not the games, but I knew
The
why they were playing
motivation.
games,
Oh,
the
yeah.
motivation for them to play games. Some of the other ones, I don't always remember all the movies in full, so some of the other ones I felt like if we found out a little bit later, but this one, no, we found out right away.
You all pretended to cure me, but what I have planned for each of you is very real.
Yeah,
What the
Like in Saw 4, where the whole motivation for him to be in a trap was because he opened doors to try to get people too fast.
Yeah,
That's a really weak reason. This one, it's a
you knew exactly why right when it started happening.
yeah, and there's and it's not someone trying to put people into traps for separate reasons. These are people all here for the same reason. They con Jigsaw.
Yeah, well, they conned a lot of people, and I
Though,
felt
yeah,
I felt like I couldn't wait because I was mad at them once I found out what was going on and why he was going to start the games. I knew I was excited for it because I was like, well, you jerks deserve it.
yeah, except for possibly one.
No,
No, there was one. I know
yeah,
she was on the wrong side of the coin, but there was still part of me that thought she doesn't quite deserve to die because of it. Because I think she was just a accomplice because they had leverage over her with drugs.
I get it, but they're
She's
all
still
sick in some way, so
yeah,
I felt
exactly.
like she was. Yeah, but I don't.
And
You know
they
what? No, in the grand scheme of it, I agreed with. I agreed with John that she needed to have her lesson too.
yeah, and even in the film, people are saying like, "Oh, this girl doesn't deserve this. This is not something that she has to suffer for."
First I didn't agree with him, John, and then I did.
Yeah,
Then I was like, no, he's right. He is right.
and
Whether I like it or not doesn't really matter, but he's right ultimately.
and how did you feel about rooting for John? Because at the end of the day, he's killing people.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
But no matter
well,
what they say, but how did you feel about rooting for John in this one?
I still think he's sick, but I don't
Because he's not a hero; he's an anti-hero.
yeah, I don't know how I would. I don't know. I just felt like this. I really like this one. That's all I could say is I felt like he was first of all he was connected to it
A lot.
a
It
lot.
wasn't just like
So I
flashbacks here and
felt
there.
yeah. So I felt like you know what they really deserved it, and they had they had plenty of chances to get away, and the things they did were they was so wrong. It wasn't like one bad decision or anything like that. It was just bad. I thought it was so bad on so many levels
Yeah,
that I didn't really care if they had the game.
live or
And
die.
I mean, I felt bad what they had to do, but I think they deserve to have some kind of like I call it revenge because what they
Mm.
did was terrible.
Out of all the men to cheat, you picked John Kramer?
I was actually surprised how much more John was willing to go along with the game than Amanda. Because in Saw 3, she's pretty far gone, but I think this film explains that she's struggling with her mortality and she's struggling with all these decisions. and she's like, "What's even the goal of this?" But that's really surface level in Saw 3. With this one, you could see her trying to question herself, like, is this right or is this wrong?
Yeah.
But even then, she's instigating the victims.
Mm.
She's like, "Oh, um, if you don't do that, well, basically it means you're gonna get your head cut off." And she's like,
Mm.
being all ants. She's instigating them, but she's also like, I think she knows they deserve this, but she doesn't quite agree at first of how far it has to go for them to get their redemption
Mm.
or try to get that second chance at life. Yeah, a couple notes is that this takes place between Saw 1 and Saw 2. So it is a mid prequel or mid sequel. Basically, it's Saw 1.5, but it's the 10th installment. And there is a mid credit scene. This character, I won't spoil who, he does have minor introductions in the movie throughout, like on the phone, and it's handled pretty well. I kind of wish he was in it more, and I do see how they can continue the Saw movies. I also know that if they do that, well, Tobin Bell is Saw. He's Jigsaw. He's the main reason people go to see these movies. So if you were to continue Saw now, it would have to be a continuation of Saw 1.5 or Saw X. It can't be a continuation of Saw 3 or Saw up from Saw 3 to Saw 9 because Jigsaw, spoilers if you don't know that already, it's been a long time since the third film, and yeah, he died. So if he's not in the film after well, you could do maybe between Saw 2 and 3, but I don't know how. So you only have very limited ways to make a sequel, and even then, what's the point? You already got this nice send off at the end of Saw X. So
I think a sequel would spoil it. I don't agree with sequel. I think people should go see it,
mhm.
enjoy it, and let the Saw franchise just be what it is.
I still have a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, and Tobin Bell, I think, is 81 years old.
Yeah.
So the fact that we got a 2-hour movie with him being in 95% of it and him giving a great performance, as well as Amanda.
Mm.
Not that she's 81, but she also gave a great performance.
Mm.
It's just mind blowing. I'm so happy they did this. And it's also directed by Saw 6 and 7 director Kevin, I forgot his last name. And he made the best Saw sequels in Saw 2. That's the one where they're in the interrogation room trying to interrogate Hoffman through the voice changer.
Right.
Yeah, that was an amazing scene. I definitely would recommend this movie to Saw fans and even fans in general because it's a really deep movie. It's not like all the other Saw movies. It feels like a Saw movie, but it's a lot more poetic and more powerful. It's much more powerful than the rest of the Saw movie. So I'd really hope people check this out because it may be the last time you get to see Saw in a theater, and I think they released it at a good time right before October. All the other ones are in October, I think, except for maybe Saw 9. So it definitely gives it extra time in October. It's not like, oh, we're going to release it October 20th. Go see it in theaters for Halloween. It gives you more time.
This is not retribution. It's a reawakening. Live or die. The choice is yours.
Also, for the first, I want to say 45 minutes, it feels like a feel-good movie. Like you're like, oh, these people are trying to help cure all these people with this non-tested drug. You're like all in on these people doing this great thing for John, even though you know something's up. Even during the surgery, you're like, something's up. But it doesn't play its hand right away, and it makes you second guess, like, oh, I kind of really want this to be a solution for John. Like, I don't want it to actually be a con artist act. And when that switch happens, you still feel bad. And then these despicable people near the end get even worse. I thought that decision was really strong because it made you realize that these people, even if they did survive the Saw trap, they might not have changed who they were.
No, I agree.
that's going to do it for this video, guys. Go see Saw X in theaters. You've been watching Sharkhouse Entertainment. Make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video. And as always,
Subscribe.
subscribe.